Hi, I'm Lisa Wallem with Directional Learning, and today we're going to be mapping our letters. Notice I have a map here in the middle of the page. Well, this map is the United States of America, and we have states on our maps. Now, see this big state here on the one side or left side right here? This is California, and this is where I live. I live in California, and my house always lives in California. Now we have an aunt that lives in Texas. So guess what? She lives in Texas. That's where her house is, and it always stays in that location. Now, you may live someplace else on the map, and you stay in that location, or your house stays in that location. So that's what we're going to do with letters. We're going to make letters live on a map, and I'm going to show you the way the map works. And we'll be able to find our letters. Now remember, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, so we're going to map all of them for you. All right, let's get started. Remember, before we get started, you can always go to directionallearning.com and you can download our template, for our picture writing. So make sure you do that. So get your markers out and your eraser because we're going to review what we learned, how to picture write the letters. Okay, so before we start mapping our letters, we're going to review. We're going to write all the letters first. Remember, this is the building and this is the bed where the letters sit, and this is underground. And our building has a top, a middle floor, and a bottom. And remember, the first letter of the alphabet is the apple on the stick. Remember, that's not a tall letter, so we don't start at the top. We start at the middle of the building. So just remember the story. That cat comes by, so build a cat at the middle, and he breaks your stick, and you cry like a baby, ah, ah, ah. So our next letter is, if that cat came by and broke your stick, you would chase that cat down the tall, tall building. So we're going to make the tall, tall building. We start at the top, then we go down, then we go to the middle, make the red reptile tree, and then make the bouncy bed sit on the bed. Ba, ba, ba. Notice our letters are sitting on the bed, or this line here, the sleepy line. Next is the climbing cat. Now the climbing cat is like our apple on the stick, but it's a climbing cat. So it's a middle letter. So start it in the middle. And say the sound. K, k, k. You can write your letters just like me. The next letter, well, remember, if this is a cat, this is that digging dog. So the digging dog starts off like a middle letter. So he goes after that cat, after that apple, then his tongue goes up. Duh, duh, duh. Then, if this is the digging dog, our next letter is a big animal, and it has a sleepy line. Actually, it's the trunk of the elephant. So you can go from 1 to 3, and then he goes after that cat. Eh, eh, eh. The next letter has the sleepy line in it. See the trunk here? It has this line in it, and it hangs from a red reptile tree at Christmas time. Can you think what it is? It's that favorite candy cane. So hook first, then you cross it from 1 to 3 to make the ribbon. See the sleepy line? Our next letter is our goat, because our goat eats our candy cane. And we make the goat like the apple, so it's a middle letter. Then give him a smile that goes underground. Guh, guh, guh. And guess what? After that goat ate your candy, you chase him down the hill. So start at the building, go down the building, then make the red reptile tree to the middle, and then go over that hill. And after that run, you're so tired, so you would make that sound. And after that run, after running that hill, you may smell icky. And you see that Indian elephant looking at you. So make the eye, he's looking at you, and then his trunk. Remember, he's the schwa. He is an important letter. Give him an eyeball. And you did the first set of the letters using our alphabet story. All right, let's do the next set. Now, before we move on to the next part, I want you to see the Indian elephant. Notice the Indian elephant has a dot? Well, our next letter is going to have a dot. So let's put this aside and let's get our next piece of paper out. So, can you guess who has a dot here? That's who lives here. It's the joking joker. Remember, the joking joker has a dot. It has a hat. So put the hat in the middle and make its smile go underground. Ja, ja, ja. That's the joking joker sound. Now, the next letter, if this is the joking joker, can you guess who comes next? It's one of the biggest cards, and you play them cards in the tall, tall building. It's that king. So make the tall, tall building, and then you look at your cards and you say, crown me king, give me legs, and you walk on off like a king, king, king. Then you look back, and you see the city lights. See the building in there? So the next one is the city lights. Oh. All you do is look at the king, and this letter is in the king. See it? See the city lights? So this is the city. So now you're in the mountains. Biggest mountain wins. So make the big mountain. Now, if this is the big mountain, you just walk through the big mountain. Now you're going to walk through the little mountain. So can you make the little mountain? Notice their sounds are different. This sound is This sound is Okay, so you went through the little mountain. After you went through the little mountain, guess what you saw? What would you see after coming out of a mountain? You might see a rock. So that's the next letter. But actually, you think it's an apple. So start it like an apple, but then you look at it and it's a rock. And you take a bite because you thought it was an apple, but now it's a rock. So now you're at the dentist. So that's the dentist sound. Now imagine yourself. You're in the dentist's office and you're sitting in the dentist chair. You look out the window. Guess what you see? A pink, pink palace. So let's make the pink, pink palace. So you start it in the middle because we're making a lowercase palace. Start in the middle. Then you go down the building underground. And then you go back up towards the red reptile tree. And then you turn the lights on with your pink, pink lips. Pa, pa, pa. And if this is the palace, guess what comes next? Guess who lives in the palace? It's the queen. So make the queen holding the apple. That's what I think. I think of the apple. So make the apple, then make her body, and then give her a dancing leg. Qua, qua, qua. Notice I started in the middle and I made it like the apple. Then, this is her leg. She dances on over towards, do you remember? The red reptile tree. Rah, rah, rah. There's a red reptile tree. So now you finished the next set of letters. So let's move on to the next part. Well, now you have to think about who comes after the red reptile tree. Well, this is a tree and it's a reptile tree. So think of our letters that are reptiles. You're right, it's Slimy the snake. So let's get our next set of letters. So who goes down the red reptile tree? It's Slimy the snake. So remember to make Slimy the snake. I think of it as a climbing cat first, and it's a middle letter. And I make a climbing cat and then an upside down cat. So that's one of the red reptiles. What's the other reptile? It's Tommy the turtle. Tommy the turtle lives in the tall, tall building, so make a tall building, and then we put him to sleep from 1 to 3. And to remember the next letter, I just say turtles are round, so our next letter is round, and it has a nose. And he's a pretty special guy. It's the up guy. And give him eyes. Up. And this letter is round at the bottom, so our next letter is pointy at the bottom. Can you think what it is? Did you guess? If this one is round, the next one's pointy. It's a bird's beak. So let's make the bird's beak. So all you do is, it's a middle letter, so start it in the middle and give them one beak on that side. And our next letter has 2 birds. Can you think what it is? It's 2 beaks. Put a beak on this side. Wah, wah, wah. And our next letter is, this is 2 birds, and we say watch out for their Sharpie scissors. So let's put the Sharpie scissors. There we go, from 1 to 3. Our next letter looks like the scissors, and it's that yak who got a haircut from the scissors. So give him a haircut and give him a diagonal line, and you made yak got a haircut. Yeah. And our last letter is, it's 7 o'clock. Time to get to bed and dream about our sounds. Z, z, z. So you did it. You did all the letters. Now we're going to place the letters in a map. So we're going to map the letters. All right, let's get our 3 sheets of paper out. and let's put them on a map. Well, now it's time to map our letters. Well, our map is going to look a little different from our map here, but it's going to be a map for you to remember where they live. So let's take out our 3 pieces of paper. So, see how I have 3 pieces of paper? We're going to organize it. So the first set of letters, they live at the top there. Can you put them at the top? Our second set of letters, if we were going in alphabetical order, lives over here in the left or the one direction. Then our next set of letters, you can guess, they live in the three direction or the right. So now that you know how our map works, we have 26 letters. We have 9 letters here, 9 letters that live here, and we have only 8 letters that live here. And this is where they're going to live. So, can you organize your papers like this? So, the apple on the stick lives here. That's the Indian elephant it ends with. And over here, we start off with the joking joker, and it ends with the red reptile tree. And it starts with Slimy the snake, and ends with our last letter of the alphabet. It's 7 o'clock. Time to get to bed and dream about our sounds. Z, z, z. So put this section at the top, put this in the one direction or the left direction, and put this in the 3 direction or the right direction. And now you've made a map. Okay, now it's time to go map our letters and learn where everything lives using our story. So let's go do that. That we made our map of letters, now we're going to learn where our letters actually live. So, do you see? We're going to play a game with these stars. Do you see this first green star here? Do you know what's under it? What's the first letter of the alphabet? It's our apple on the stick. So the apple on the stick lives there. Ah, ah, ah. Now, this whole section, it ends with, see the red star? Can you think what letter it is? Well, I can look that this is the hill. And guess what? After you climbed that hill, you might have smelled icky or seen that Indian elephant looking at you. So it ends with So can you remember what was under the star? The first letter of the alphabet. Ah. Then this section ended with the Indian elephant. Just remember the Indian elephant has a dot. Think of the dot, the Indian elephant. So you learn the first 2 letters that live up here, the beginning and the ending. Okay, now let's go to our next section here. Well, who does it start with? It starts with our joking joker. Now notice the Indian elephant had a dot, and so does the joking joker. That's how you can remember the joking joker comes next. Think of a dot, dot, dot. So let's cover that joking joker up. Now that you know he lives there. Well, this section ends with the red reptile tree. Remember, this is the queen. So the queen dances on over towards the red reptile tree. Rah, rah, rah. So this is the tree. So that section ends with the tree. So let's start from the beginning. Can you remember what it starts with up here? It should be the apple on the stick. And it ends with a dot. Can you guess? It's that Indian elephant. And if this one has a dot, the next one has a dot. It's that joking joker. Then over here, do you remember it's a tree? Do you remember what the tree is? Rah, rah, rah. It's a red reptile tree. So let's move to our last section. Well, who's it start with? Slimy the snake. Just remember, here was the red reptile tree. Slimy the snake likes to slide down that tree. So that's him. So can you say S? Now, who's it end with? Oh, just think it's the last letter of the alphabet. It's the sleepy letter. Z, z, z. So let's start from the beginning to see if you remember. Okay, so this one here is Slimy the snake. Just remember this is the red reptile tree, so that's Slimy the snake. And then this is the last letter of the alphabet. It's that sleepy letter. Z, z, z. Now let's start from the very beginning. Okay, so who lives up here? It's the first letter of the alphabet. Apple on the stick. Ah, ah, ah. Then down here, well, this is the hill. You may smell icky after climbing it. So this is the Indian elephant with the dot. Think of dot. So who lives here? Can you remember? Has a dot or a hat. It's that joking joker. He might have laughed at you after he saw you get sprayed off by that Indian elephant. It's the joking joker. See his smile? Okay, and then it ends with, can you think what letter it ends with? Well, here's the queen. Remember, she dances on over towards a red reptile tree. Rah, rah, rah. So that's rah. That's the tree. Who goes down the tree? Slimy the snake. S, s, s. And our last letter of the alphabet is our sleepy letter, Z, Z, Z. Now that you learn how our map works, and you learn which letters live under the stars, and you also learn that this is a map where our letters are going to live. Now, on our next video, we're going to teach you what letters live between the stars. Then we're going to teach you how to write the letters in the reverse order. Then guess what? We're moving to reading. So make sure you watch out for our newest videos on directional learning. So we can't wait to teach you more.